Okay, so today I thought it could be interesting to go through books that I physically own, but that I'm scared to start reading or scared to finish. Because one of them I started, but we'll get into that. So, first off, this might be kind of controversial, but I'm scared to start People We Meet on Vacation because I love Emily Henry. I love book lovers. It's probably my favorite romance book. And romance is not like my top genre, but I love when she does it most of the time. And I'm scared to start this one because it's typically people's like least favorite Emily Henry book, which means it's still a great book. She just has better. And I'm nervous because my rating of Emily Henry books is very different than I think what is the standard norm, as in I did not love beach read. So I'm nervous to start this one. I will at some point, I promise. I've owned this book for like a year. I thought I would get to it this summer. It's now September. I still haven't read it. So one day it will happen. Just probably not anytime soon. Next I have As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. And I want to read this. I really do, because I think it's going to be a great book. There are amazing reviews for this book. It's very highly rated on Goodreads, but it's going to be a sad book. It's going to be a sad book, and I think it's going to make me cry. And I just don't really want to be sad. I don't want to be depressed, and I think that is going to be what a lot of this book is, and I don't think I'm ready for that. Yeah, I don't want to be bummed out. Which is a terrible thing to say because I think this is going to be a very moving and beautiful book. I'm just scared. Next I have Pride and Prejudice. And look at how cute this cover is. It's so cute. I've never read a Jane Austen book. I've never even seen the Pride and Prejudice movie. I've been tempted to, but I've thought, oh, I want to read the book first. So I bought it about a month ago. This cute little edition. The font is so small. This font is so small. So honestly, I haven't started this because the font is so small. And I have not read classic, or what is considered like classic literature, since I was in high school. And I'm pretty sure Jane Austen is considered classic literature. None of her books were required high school reading for me, but yes. And I know this isn't like classic literature in like the standard sense, like a lot of the books you read in high school. Like this has like amazing romance, so I've heard. So I do want to read it. I think I just need a snowy day, I'm stuck inside all day, and just read this with all the lights on like max, so I don't have to strain to read this really small print. But I'm intimidated to start this one. Maybe not scared, maybe more so intimidated. Next I have The Night Circus, and I was so pumped when I got this book because I kind of like this setting. I loved Caraval, and I know this is not the same as Caraval, but I thought like the vibe would be the same, and I wanted that. I wanted the same vibe. So I got this, and then I found out that this book focuses more on like vibes, and I've heard it described as not plot driven, as in there's barely any plot, borderline no plot, and I am somebody who prefers books to be plot driven. I'll read character driven books, like I'd say like Sally Rooney books are character driven, and not that I read a ton from her, but I enjoyed conversations with friends. And other character driven books, like I'd say a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid books are character driven, but this it's intimidated me finding out that there's like no plot. So again, maybe more so intimidated, not quite scared, but I'm gonna be putting this off for a while probably, unless like you need to convince me in the comments to read some of these books because I need it. I physically own them too, so it feels like such a waste. I need to read them. Next I have Throne of Glass. I have the whole series, like physical copies of the whole series, and I really want to read this, but this one I'm scared to read. I've done a really good job at like not seeing spoilers. Like I've seen a few spoilers, but I try to like erase it from my brain because like I don't really know, like I hear character names, but I try not to focus on them so I don't like remember stuff that I see. But I'm scared to read this because it is the only Sarah J Maas series that I haven't read, and I really just, I like having this to look forward to. So I'm scared to be done, pretty much. So it's kind of like a loophole on this video, but I am nonetheless scared to start this. Next I have probably one of the books that I've owned for the longest, The Silent Patient. I got this over a year ago at this point. I started it and I got 21 pages into this, and I'm not a big thriller person. I read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and it just left me with such an icky feeling that I was just like, you know what, I don't think thrillers are for me. Since then, I have read a few Alice Feeney, and I just read The House Across the Lake, and I liked those. But this was like too creepy for me, or at least it was at the time, but I feel absolutely no desire to pick this up. No desire. I'm like honestly kind of scared to read this. I'm scared that I'm gonna be left with that icky, like creepy feeling again, and I don't want that. And this book just creeps me out. I sound like such a baby and I know it, so you don't need to tell me I know. Next I have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This book I started. I'm like 67 pages into this, and I was so pumped. I thought I was gonna like love this book, and I know I'm barely into it. Like in the grand scheme of things, this book is slightly over 500 pages, and I'm 60 pages in, 60 something. But I just wasn't liking any of it, and like I know the characters are supposed to be unlikable, but maybe dark academia isn't for me. I think maybe I need like dark academia in like a fantasy setting, so there's just like more going on, but it's very slow, at least in the beginning. I really want to power through this at some point, but I'm intimidated to finish this book, especially because so many people like seem to love it. I don't know if this is a common problem people have, or if it's only a problem people have for people who like end up really disliking this book. So I'm intimidated to finish this. I don't want to pick it back up and finish it, but I do like want to power through it and come to my own conclusion on it, because this is the first like pure dark academia book I read. Next, I don't have a physical copy of this book, but I have the ebook of this and the audiobook for it, and it is Little Women. Never read Little Women. I've never seen any of the movies, again, like Pride and Prejudice. I've like tried to put it off, even though I wanted to see the one with Emma Watson and Florence Pugh. And that's honestly why I want to read this book, because I want to see that movie. But it's so long. I never knew how long this book was, and I don't know if there's like different versions of this book, like shorter versions of this book. I think there is like a cut down version to be like a children's version of Little Women, but it's long. The audiobook is over like 20 hours. I'm pretty sure the book is like 600-700 pages, and I'm just scared. I'm scared to read it. I think it's going to be very slow, and I know it's sad. I know someone dies. I know that's like a spoiler, but this book is so old, and I've seen spoilers of it back when I was watching Friends. Like, it's commonly talked about, but it's sad and long, but I want to watch the movie. So I'm scared, but hoping I'll get through it this winter. And then the last book I have Chain of Thorns. I love Cassandra Clare books. I love the Shadowhunter books. They're what got me into fantasy reading, and I don't know if I've had like such a great experience reading since starting the Mortal Instruments last fall, winter time. But I'm honest to God scared to read this for multiple reasons. I have several, really. I think I can make a good argument for it. I did not love where the second book left off. I read the first 2 books in June or something like that, and like in a row I was binging them, and then I stopped. Because I did not like where book 2 ended, and I know there's just a lot I'm gonna have to get through in this book for me to be happy with things again. And I don't even know if I will be happy with things again, but that's honestly a big reason. A big reason. Another, and this is really bad, but this is one of her more lower rated books on Goodreads. It's like barely a 4.0 rating, which is really low, especially for like a third book in a series, because normally if like somebody doesn't like a book series, they'll stop reading after book 1. They're not going to read book 2 and 3 and rate those. So that scares me. And then this is the last Shadowhunter novel I have to read. And I don't know when we're gonna get the next one, The Wicked Powers. At best, a year from now, at best. So those are the reasons I'm scared to read this. Not to mention this book is like 800 pages. Let's see. Oh no, it's 760. Not quite 800, but this is a thick book. A thick book. And I'm scared. So those are the books that I'm scared to read. Those are the ones that I own that I'm scared to read. There were a few more that I had come up with when I originally came up with the concept for this that I've read since then. One of those being Heartstopper. I was just nervous. I was like scared to read that because I didn't know if I'd like it. Spoiler, I did like it. I loved it. I watched the show right after. But I don't know, I thought it would be fun to go through the books that I'm scared or intimidated to read. I was hoping that if I showed you these books, there'd be comments convincing me to read them, because I want to, because I own these books. I don't want them to go to waste. Some of these have been sitting out for my shelf for about a year now, so do me a favor, leave me comments on some of these books that you've read and tell me they're worth it. Convince me to read them. And honestly, if you didn't like them, tell me, because maybe it's the push I need to like finally get rid of them and donate them. But anyways, thanks for watching.